I'm Ryan.
And I'm Steve, and this is 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, reviewing, playing podcast.
We're back at it again. Back in the garage.
In my garage.
Let's talk about this Les Paul.
Yeah!
Before we start getting too stupid with like
Weezer
stuff,
references.
singing Weezer songs, getting us demonetized, Steve. So this thing looks stupid.
Speaking of getting demonetized, this is a Gibson Les Paul with EMGs and a Floyd Rose for $950.
I'm not bothered by the EMGs. I'm not bothered by the concept of having Floyd Roses on Les Pauls. Despite people out there who are grinding their teeth right now.
Are you bothered by this specific kind of Floyd Rose?
I'm bothered by this specific model of Floyd Rose, which is like the drop-on one.
Right, it's the FRX.
Yeah, it looks like something that fell off of like the Batmobile. Like there's just too much going on with these things. It's not an aesthetic choice at all. I mean, a Floyd Rose is already kind of like a utilitarian, like clunky sort of design. Like there's nothing really like pretty about them.
Yeah.
Despite it, unless you're just someone who likes looking at Floyd Roses, like you appreciate different models of Floyd Roses. But in its design, there's nothing like sleek or like compact about it. This makes it even worse. They tried to design this to make it look like something, and it just looks like a chunk of a stealth fighter or something like that, you know?
I also have been trying to figure out exactly what model this is. It's definitely
the Les Paul
faded finish.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a treasure map. It's not.
Oh yeah,
it's not like a wood grain. It's like a weird bursted.
I think that might
like
just
paint job.
I feel like that might be kind of just the picture,
just
of
the bad quality picture.
But I think this might be like I think they did like a tribute faded. Oh yeah, this is definitely it. The Gibson Les Paul Tribute T faded. I'll give you a picture of it.
I bet it looks better without this Floyd Rose thing on it.
It looks like that.
Yeah, it looks way better. It had a pick guard on it.
So this is like a 500.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of wood grain popping through.
It's got like a 5. This is like a 500, 600. I don't know why I'm stumbling over those prices.
Either, Steve.
The EMGs, if they're like, assuming they're like an 185 set, that's like another $200. The Floyd Rose is like another $200.
No, the Floyd Rose is like almost $300.
Yeah, so
for that freaking FRX system.
I kind of do hate to say it, but this is maybe priced appropriately.
I feel like if I was a seller, I'd want to reverse part this thing out a little bit.
Right.
I'd don't even back the truck up. It shouldn't be hard to take that Floyd Rose off. They're supposed to just lock onto a Tune-O-Matic post sort of system.
Maybe
I don't know why they wouldn't just take that off and put the Tune-O-Matic back on there. Like, is it really that much trouble for you to restring the guitar before you sell it? Like, and then flip.
Maybe this guy bought it secondhand, and so these are all. He doesn't have the original parts or something.
I just like going back to this Floyd Rose. It's hard for me to imagine a guitar that these things would look good on. I don't think I've ever seen them on a guitar and been like, oh yeah, that works.
Yeah, the FRX is like.
It's just so huge.
Well, so it's the Floyd Rose version of a Bigsby.
Yeah.
Like, think about what it takes to put a Bigsby on a Les Paul.
Bigsby is sleeker than this design.
It's sleeker because it's
smaller.
Because it has
it's more sporty.
I don't know if the Les Paul version of a Floyd Rose or of a Bigsby is that much. I mean, the Floyd Rose in any design, like the Floyd Rose,
at least the Bigsby,
there is no locking version of the Floyd Rose that is sleek.
No, I know that. Like it's a boxy, angular, like chromy metallic thing that doesn't look like it's at home on a Floyd Rose. It looks like it's at home on a Super Strat because we're used to singing on there.
Right.
But even like when you take a Les Paul and it's made to have a Floyd Rose on it, it has the route in there, and a Floyd Rose is on a Les Paul. I'm more fine with that than I am with this.
So you're fine with like the Les? Is that the Access model? I think.
I don't know. I'm fine with those neon ones they put out that has like a black Floyd Rose on it.
Yeah, but where it's actually built in, it's not like, ooh, I kicked my mic stand. That's weird.
Don't do that.
Where it's actually built into the, like, they just basically half of your Les Paul is missing because to accommodate a Floyd Rose.
Well, yeah, you got to take a lot of wood out to put one of those in. And I get like that this system bypasses that. There's no modification you need to make to a guitar to drop this in here. If you are Floyd Rose curious, you can convert a guitar that you like into a Floyd Rose guitar for $300. There's a nut saddle locking system that comes with them and connects into where your truss rod cover would be.
So here's what you need to know about this ad. If you're Floyd Rose curious and you're willing to modify your nut, all you got to do is take that wood out.
Take the wood out. No, I don't think anyone should modify an existing Les Paul to put a real Floyd Rose in.
Right.
I think this is, if someone really wants to experiment with having a Floyd Rose on a Les Paul and they don't want to fully invest, I guess this is the way to do it. But it's just so ugly.
Yeah.
It's ugly, right?
No, it's pretty bad.
Like it doesn't fit
I feel like
the look of the guitar at all.
I feel like if this was black, if you went like all blackout, like like a black, like an ebony Les Paul.
Well, that's just because it would disappear a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
This on okay. You put this on a blackout SG. Everything's black, and this is just kind of hidden. And I saw someone playing it at a show, I'd be like, okay, yeah, you're hiding it.
I feel like even if you were to go with any other color of Les Paul and like a nickel-plated version of this.
No, dude.
I think nickel-plated on black would be sick.
I think the nickel's even worse because then it's like, then you can really see how like huge it is and shiny it is. It's a bigger eyesore. This is such a huge system. And it like, there's no angle of it and no like part of it that looks, I mean, at least like a Bigsby looks like a trapeze tailpiece in a way. Like it's kind of decorative. It's kind of flowy. It looks like it's from the time that most guitars were designed in.
You know,
like what guitar?
I don't know, Ryan.
You have to have like a really futuristic looking guitar for this to fit in on it.
I was like counting the corners here, Ryan, and there's at least 8 or 9 angles that I can see for this
I'm gonna look
Floyd
up.
Rose FRX system.
Why are you counting angles? Why does it matter?
Oh, you said something about angles, so I started looking at all the angles.
There's a lot of angles, that's for sure. Like I'm saying, it looks like a stealth fighter. It looks like the Batmobile. I want to see pictures of this thing on other guitars. Of course, another Les Paul.
Yeah.
SG.
That's all you're going to see it on because
you don't. Bad.
You're not going to drop this on anything else. Like it's designed to drop on something with the tom. So there's just like those are your two primary.
There it is on a blackout Les Paul, and because it's hiding, it looks better, but it still looks god awful.
Whatever.
I'm sure the functionality is there, but the aesthetics are bad. Look at this chrome one on a Silverburst Les Paul. It looks
chrome
bad.
on Silverburst is bad.
It needs big.
It needs more chrome.
It needs to be on the most gigantic guitar in the world because the whole system is too big.
So, like, you're saying this needs to drop onto like an.
If they could make it so that the wings on the side were underneath the bridge, so the bridge was like a normal width of a Floyd, I would be able to forgive the bit sticking out the back. But the wings on the side of it that make it super wide, it just looks bad. I hate the look of these things. I'm probably going to end up having one someday on something.
Yep, here we go. You got, that's a 339. Dang it.
It almost looks okay on this Explorer because an Explorer is angular, but it's still way too big. Way too big.
I was hoping somebody had put one on an ES335, but I can only find like I don't think this looks awful.
I think
that's a 339.
You got to send that picture to me.
I don't hate this.
Oh man, I hate it. Let us know in the comments. Do you think that this tremolo system is okay? You think it looks fine? I think it looks awful. And I hate it every time I see it. And I'm not a Floyd Rose hater. I like Floyd Roses on things. Are you airdropping it to me?
Gonna drop that air.
Accepting it. Hopefully I remember to edit that into the episode. Well, I'm talking about it. I'll remind myself.
You should.
Ryan, edit that photo into the episode. There.
Good.
I've done
there you go.
Anything new going on, Steve? You got anything new?
Oh, are we going to what's news?
Yeah. I mean, what did you want to do? You want to keep talking about that Floyd Rose
I
on
don't
a
know,
Les
man.
Paul?
I didn't realize we were there already.
I mean, the price with like we already established the price is fair.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. The price is fairish. The more I think about it, I feel like the price is like maybe a little high since everything here is used. But
If you want that,
I can understand how they got to the price, and I don't feel like they've tried to do the whole thing. Well, this is a $200 pickup set plus another $200 for labor.
right,
like,
right.
So yeah, whatever.
I still think they should have taken the bridge off, put the original Tunematic back on, and sold them separate. Leave the EMGs in the Les Paul. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's
You
a
just
normal
think
upgrade.
throw the.
Yeah, you just need to sell them separately, and you'll probably get more money if you do
Mm-hmm.
it that way, and it'll sell quicker because it'll be less niche, or
Yeah.
niche, however you like to pronounce it.
Niche.
It'll be less niche.
Nisha.
So, what's new, Steve?
What's new is this. Okay, so I'm thinking about this week is we'll drop the 3rd episode of the Just Surprise Me podcast.
Oh my
that I was on.
gosh, I can't believe you
So-
recorded so many episodes with those boys.
I did a regular episode with them, which was basically 3 weeks ago now, 2.5 weeks
I
ago.
listened to the first one.
And then I did a general Star Trek episode with them. And then we did a Star Trek season 1 episode
Of
of
Next
Star
Generation?
Trek Discovery season 1.
okay, Discovery season one.
So
Wow.
I'm supposed to be going back to do Discovery season 2 at some point.
What did you
in the
think of
future with them.
Discovery as a whole?
I enjoyed it. I thought, it's funny because I'm reading a lot of reviews and seeing, in hindsight now, like seeing different people's takes on it, and a lot of people are saying that they thought, well, one thing I've seen a lot of people who say that they like season 2 more than season 1, and I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I think season 1 is better sci-fi than season 2, but season 2 is better Star Trek than season 1.
I
if
think
that
that's
makes
true.
sense.
I'll say that I think that season 1 has worst acting.
Okay.
The season 2 leans deeper into camp in an intentional way. Like they're more intentionally cheesy in season 2, where in season 1 they're trying to be deadly serious and they're not pulling it off.
Right. I think that's fair.
Yeah. I think that both seasons are very enjoyable. It's a different kind of Trek. It's a different kind of
I think
storytelling.
that both of them fit into the canon, the greater canon of Star Trek really well.
They do. And they retcon that show so hard into Trek canon.
I mean,
they're like, don't worry, we'll explain this.
yeah, I mean, some of that's
listeners
true.
to the show are like, what just happened? They were talking about a Les Paul, now they're talking about Star
Yes.
Trek.
Some of that is true. Like some of it is kind of forced. Obviously, like the whole, the Klingons seem like everyone wants to redesign the Klingons all the time. One of my complaints constantly with Star Trek as it moves forward or backwards in terms of video technology is just that it's like what, and the original Star Trek, like the original series, it was like we have 2 phaser banks and that's it.
And they had like carnival buttons on their
and
controllers.
And then you get to like the newer ones, whether it's JJ verse, whether it's,
Sure.
whatever, all of a sudden like the Enterprise has like, 12 phaser banks that can all fire simultaneously. And anytime they go into battle, there's like 100 photon torpedoes on the screen and 15 phaser banks. And
Right.
Also, did you know that we have like 40 shuttlecraft on board? But you didn't know that. Like, I'm like, like that stuff. Like, it's like I understand we have the technology to accomplish this, and so it's fun. So I kind of had to turn that part of my brain off. But I thought they shoved everything into the canon of Star Trek without even being
they
like.
shoved it deep in the canon. They let the views.
I didn't even think they like had to retcon.
That's a joke I don't even agree with.
Yeah. I don't even think they had to retcon it that hard, really.
Sure,
like I
sure.
think it was kind of there were certain things where it's like where it was definitely like, yes, we'll just do this whole thing and then erase it all.
How many
But
people at this point are related to Spock? Why is everyone in Star Trek related to
the
Spock?
I mean, all 3 people.
He's got parents.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. His parents, him. Does he have a brother?
Okay.
I don't
Whatever.
remember.
Let's get back to the gear.
All right, anyway,
guitar
you asked me.
stuff.
So anyway, go check that out. I will say, if you enjoyed the drunk episodes of 60 Cycle Hum,
Oh my gosh.
then you should definitely go check out these
I listened to
my episodes of Just Surprise Me.
I listened to that first episode of that, and you were already getting a little loose, I think. So I can't imagine.
Well, it's a different environment too because it's a pop culture podcast, so I get really, really excited.
yeah. I'll check out the other episodes.
The other ones are definitely way
Yeah.
more off the rails.
I was a guest on Get Offset.
Oh yeah.
For people who don't know that,
I only listened to the first half of that episode.
You should
I
listen to the
never
second
got to the
half.
second half.
There's some good bits in the second half. It was a fun thing. They hit up a couple different people and had them just like kind of answer a questionnaire.
Yeah.
And then they did a clip show where we cut all the clips together and had people answer the same question in different ways. It was me. It was Julie from Earthquaker Devices, and it was two other people. Sorry, I can't remember who the other two people were.
Yeah.
But it was a bunch of fun and a bit more of a somber topic than Steve getting drunk and talking about Star Trek. We were talking about trolls and how to deal with trolls, and it was interesting.
Well, I think it was only a somber topic from the other people's perspectives, not from yours.
I'm a little bit of an a-hole with my trolls.
You're just like, trolls. Oh yeah, they pay the bills.
But I think it's fun that there's such a wide variety of responses to that topic in those episodes. So go check that out. Get Offset Podcast. Other than that, I redesigned the walls behind us.
Yeah, man.
String Swing hit me up. And I was like, hey, can you send us pictures of your walls for whatever we're doing? And I was like, hey, yeah, that'd be great. Here's some pictures. Oh, by the way, like my Amazon affiliate links for the string swings that I did a video of are like my top selling like affiliate link. And like, oh, hey, you want us to send you anything? I was like, I've been thinking about putting up like the slider racks if you want to send me some of those. So thanks String Swing, they hooked me up. I need to do a video of those things. They're pretty cool, and they freed up actually like quite a bit of space in here. Like they really compacted everything that's behind me, like to the point where I wonder if I need to do the same thing over there.
I mean, maybe eventually.
Yeah, maybe eventually. I mean, I keep getting guitars. I need space to put them. I want to get rid of a couple of these guitars.
Yeah, you've been saying that for like how long now?
I know, but you got your guitar there that we're going to Super Rich Steve at some point.
Yeah.
We've got the Mahar. I'll probably figure out a giveaway or something for this Harley Benton.
Yeah.
I mean, I can take down the Hofner that's back there, the mini Hofner, and then the SL can probably get moved at some point. I don't know.
Sure.
We'll figure it out. But there's going to be some spaces opening up here.
Yep.
But also, it's like I've got the amps behind us now.
Yeah.
We've got this whole
It
amp
feels
thing going
like I
on.
have a lot more room all of a sudden.
Yeah,
I think I do.
That's the whole thing. Like, because those shelves used to be right behind to
It's a
your
lot easier to access
to your
stuff.
left, and you were tighter. And this pushes them back in the corner and makes the whole space a little bit rounder now.
The guitar here. I never picked this up.
You should pick it up and give people your honest opinion real quick.
This neck is way bigger than I expected.
Yeah, it's kind of a beefy, like vintagey sort of round neck. It's a guitar, right?
Yeah.
It's a $140 guitar. He's holding the Firefly 338 right now for our audio-only listeners.
It plays like a guitar. The frets aren't awful.
No.
They're
The action's a little high right now. I could fix the action. But there's no dead spots or anything like that. I'm stoked on it. There should be some more coming onto Amazon any day now. It might even be today. But I put together a follow-up video to give like my full review of it that I'll probably be launching when that happens. So I can cash in on that Amazon affiliate stuff again. But anyways, yeah, that's what's new with me. Just did the redesign. Also, I've got a tabletop over here now to like stack pedals on and stuff before I was stacking stuff on amps and whatnot.
It's wood.
It's wood. I cut it out of plywood. So yeah, that's mine. What's new?
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we move on, let's hit this first sponsor spot. This week's episode is sponsored by Daddario, and we're talking about the Auto Lock Strap. The Auto Lock Strap has proprietary locking strap design technology built into the end cap. I said all those fancy words, but they were designed by Ned Steinberger of the Steinberger Guitar and Bass Genius Trap there. Ryan has the padded strap. I have the classic automobile strap,
Like the seatbelt strap.
seatbelt strap.
I like
And
this
they
one.
are great. They're like super convenient. I keep mine in one of my bags, and I can pretty much slap it onto any guitar in any situation.
Someone asked if these could go on a guitar that has a strap button like this. I haven't tried it on this guitar yet. Yep. Goes right on there.
Yeah. And that's actually a really good point with that one, because on instruments that have the back plate like that, a lot of times a full-on like strap lock system is way too beefy.
Imagine putting one of those strap locks like systems on there that's shaped like a freaking like chess bishop.
Yeah.
You can't put that like on an SG or something like that.
Yeah.
Like you're screwed.
I mean,
in
I'm
that.
sure lots of people do it because I guess depending on how you hold it, but it's not going to be nearly as flush.
Ugh, I can't imagine it because those things stick out like an inch and
I
a
think
half.
a lot of people who use SGs in that context probably go with the Dunlop, which is a flat, but it still sticks super far away from the body.
I wouldn't want to do it.
I'd much rather use these. I really like that. I've thought about buying a couple more of those straps just to keep one in like
Steve,
every
we have a sponsor.
pedal case I have. I know.
Don't buy stuff.
Hey guys. How's
Hey.
it going?
Daddario. Steve wants more stuff.
I'm not good at asking sponsors for stuff, okay? All right, so that's our first one. Check out the link in the notes. They're freaking great. They'll replace like a bunch of straps in your collection. I guarantee it, or else.
Just get one. It'll replace all your straps. Because how many guitars can you wear at one time, right? Right? Throw your other straps away.
Yeah, you don't need
Throw them
those.
in the fire.
Literally, I've gotten like other straps since getting that strap, like that word I just won in contests and stuff. And I'm just like, I don't even know what to do with
I have
this.
a crap ton of straps hanging on
Yeah,
the door
bunch
over here.
of, just a bunch of garbage.
I need to get rid of a bunch of
You
them.
need to sell those
honestly.
monos. Probably get some cash money for those.
You think I could get cash money for the
Yeah,
monos?
boy. All right. Anyway, moving on. Our first topic is
This one is from Emily Harris of the Get Offset podcast. that
Yeah,
we
speaking
previously
of
talked
which.
She said, would you buy a $100,000, no, not 100,000. Would you buy a $1,000 flight case that was custom made for your guitar? And I feel like this question isn't all the way the question that I want to answer or ask ourselves. I want to figure out what is the correct like ratio case cost to guitar cost. Like if you bought how expensive would you need a guitar to be for you to justify buying a $1,000 case that's specifically for that guitar?
I want to say if you're thinking in terms of ratio, I want to say like 30%.
That's not a ratio, that's a percent.
Percents are ratios.
Okay.
I mean, they function. I
Okay,
would
it
say
functions as a
1
ratio.
third.
You're thinking 1/3. So a $1,000 guitar earns a $333.
Sure, I'm just ballparking. Well, think about it this way, right? Like, at what point is the value in a mono Vertigo case justified?
Well, I did buy one of those. And what are those new?
And hold on, don't answer that question. What guitar did you put in it?
I bought it because I was getting nicer guitars like the Titan and the Roni
Okay.
and stuff like that. I was like, I can't haul those around in my cheap ass cases with failing zippers and stuff like that.
So and then now are we talking about like
So let's say
value,
I got
used value?
Are those cases like $275 or something
Yeah.
like that? So we'll say I got a $275 case for a Titan that's worth $1,300.
Yeah, so that's like 25%.
25%. That's not a far
It's a
off.
little less than 25%. In the case of the little stinker, the resale value on that was not great. So now you're
Right.
pushing way closer to 30%, if not over 30%.
But the original value of it
Sure.
was like $2,400 or
Yes.
something.
Which is closer to 10%. So now we have a conundrum. But I think lots of people are buying like
But I bought it with the Titan in mind.
right. And I
So
think
I think a 20 to 30%
that
ratio
range
works.
rate. Yeah.
So for $1,000 case, then we're talking about a $3,000, $4,000 guitar that goes into it.
yeah.
I can't imagine buying a $3,000 or $4,000 guitar though.
I think it really just so to actually answer this question,
And like, what mentality are you in if you're someone who's spending $3,000 and $4,000 on a guitar?
right. Well, I think the actual answer to this depends on how much you are like actually a working muso
Working muso.
Because, literally like every single person who's had their guitar smashed on a United Airlines flight probably wish they would have dropped $1,000 on a guitar case.
I don't think any case can keep that from happening.
Well,
United is just too good at their job.
Like the whole thing with like the Carlton case is that like
Right.
you can take it and throw it off of like a freaking bridge. Like,
Right.
And that literally like when we went to Carlton,
United has jet turbines at their disposal, Steve. They will find a way.
I'm just saying like, so when we went
You
to
got
Carlton,
something in your teeth too, by the way.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Can you see? Oh,
Big thing.
there's meat.
Probably wouldn't even been picked up on
Delicious.
camera. And I
It was bothering you?
yeah, second dinner there, huh?
Yeah. I'm just thinking like when we went to Carlton, went by Carlton cases, Carlton.
I would climb in one of those things and expect to survive being thrown off a
like
bridge.
They're
They're like emergency escape pods.
I was like, yeah, we threw a guitar off of a bridge in a case. Can you do that on yours? And the girl was like, yeah, was your guitar still in tune afterwards? And we're like, nope.
It was not
she's
intact.
She's like, should have gone a Carlton case. I was like, dang, that's some confidence.
Yeah. Well, they're like car bodies that you put around your guitar.
Yeah, I
Is
don't
that
know.
what those cost? Are those $1,000?
I have no idea.
For some reason, I thought they were more because those are like what people put $30,000 like cellos and stuff in, right?
Oh, yeah, those ones. Yeah, I don't know how much their guitar case is.
I can't imagine they charge a different rate for guitars versus
There's
cellos.
one on Reverb for $1,215.
Man.
Another one being sold by Lark Guitars for $1,100.
I sweated bullets over a guitar that I bought for $900. Like, I can't imagine just being in the headspace like, oh yeah, this guitar I bought needs a $1,300, $1,200 case.
But I think that's a space you get into because, you think about where would you say, like, I guess, what would you say is the definition price range of a premium electric guitar? Like, at what price point do you feel like you're getting into premium electric guitars?
I feel like probably like the $3,000 or $4,000 range, because then you're getting into small builder customs and you're getting into top shelf factory builds. Like it.
Okay,
Like,
let me rephrase that then, because I'm not getting the answer that I want. At what point do you feel like you're getting into premium mass manufactured electric guitars?
Okay. I feel like, it's tough because Gibson exists.
Well, so either way,
I feel like once you get over like $2,000, $2,500, like a factory guitar should be really good.
Right.
It should be really good.
I guess either way I can work with either answer. That price point was more. I was thinking
like if you get like a $2,500 Fender, it better be like a really really good Fender.
Yeah. Well, I don't even think you can get a $2,500. Like I think it's really hard to get a $2,500 manufactured Fender.
Yeah.
Like I think
That's
at
like
that point you're like
stuff.
bordering into custom shop, or you're getting into like limited run. But that's not really the point anyway. The point being, like, even if you're saying like $3,000 for like a high-end electric guitar, you're just breaking into like what most people would consider the mid-range of acoustic guitars.
Sure.
At that point. So when I'm looking at like $1,000 Carlton case, like that's for an acoustic guitar.
Like a really fancy,
and that gets you into like the Taylor like 6 series. You're breaking into the 4,000s and if you're looking at Taylor 8 or 9 series. And if you're looking at like a premium, like a Santa Cruz or whatever, like you're talking about $6,000 for an acoustic guitar. At which point, $1,000
Why do people
guitar.
spend so much money on such a boring thing? An acoustic guitar?
Dude,
It gives me a funny memory. When I was a teenager, I went to the local guitar, like the music shop, and I was trying to convince my parents to let me buy an electric
Music
guitar.
Central?
Yeah. And I was like, it's funny. Like the electric guitars are a lot cheaper than the acoustic guitars over there. And my dad, without like missing a beat, was like, that's because they sound better.
I went with an old coworker of mine to a local music shop that only sells like the cheapest acoustic guitar in their shop was probably like $3,000.
Wow.
The cheapest electrified instrument was probably like $1,500. And basically, my coworker went in there and said that he had a budget of $3,000. And they basically told after they were talking to him and he's like, yeah, I'm looking at buying I'm looking at upgrading my acoustic and I'm just trying to see what's out there. I'm probably going to be spending about $3,000. And the guy's reaction was just kind of like, oh, you might we don't really cater to that price point
because it was too low.
Because it was too low. Because everything in there was like Callings and Santa Cruz and whatever, and it was just a very I'm sorry, and then he kind of snapped.
Let me direct you to the toilet.
Yeah, he kind of my coworker kind of clapped back at him too. He's like, well, I actually plan on beating the crap out. I actually plan on playing this every freaking single day. And the guy was like, well, I guarantee our instruments are getting played. And he's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, not the way I'm talking about playing. But anyway, that's an aside. If you own a $6,000 guitar and you play it at the bars every single night.
If you play a $6,000 guitar, I would like to encourage you to support us on Patreon. Even
they can't.
Even $1 a month makes a difference.
They can't because they spent all their money on a $6,000 guitar.
I can't. I mean, I'm privileged. I
get a white in America.
I get a lot of gear coming through the door here, and I have a lot of guitars that I would have never been able to buy. But I cannot put myself in the headspace of shopping for and then purchasing a $3,000 guitar. I can't imagine what I would even be looking for in that price point. I guess I would be having something custom built for me to my specs, because I wouldn't want to just go pick up something off the wall and be like, oh yeah, this guitar seems fine for $3,000. But then that jump to be like, gosh, I hope this thing I'm ordering plays like a $3,000 guitar, Man, I haven't thought about this in a while, this sort of mind space, I guess, of expensive guitars.
You should go spend some time in the Guitar Center Platinum Room or whatever it's called.
But even when I'm there, I'm like, oh, these exist.
Yeah.
But I'm not in the headspace of which one would I buy?
No, I'm saying, well, and the problem, actually, the last time I was in there, most of the instruments in there were locked up anyway.
Yeah, they lock them down now, which is smart. This is what they should have done all along, because children go to Guitar Center and touch everything.
Yeah.
You should definitely have
kids.
You should definitely have the high-end stuff locked up, because they wreck every guitar that they touch in there.
Look at Ryan's guitars.
Yeah, my guitars are messed up, and I'm not a child. Do you have anything else you need to say about this case?
No.
Thing?
I don't know. That's my thing.
This is our classic bit, wrap up the bit, where we try to figure out if there's anything left to say.
My thing with all of this is it's all about usage. So sure. I think if
you don't need a case for your $6,000 guitar if you don't take it out of your house.
Exactly. And even with that, if you, I could see people again, $1,000 case that's custom built to your instrument, or even if it's not custom built to your instrument, $1,000 generic because you play, a standard body style guitar, that makes sense to me if you are doing a lot of flying gigs or whatever,
tour bus stuff where things are just getting tossed in there.
I would hope if you're on a tour bus and you the people you have handling your gear are answering directly to you, and so they're not going to mistreat your stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, I think that's really the bottom line is, and so I don't think either of us can feasibly conceptualize what would I need to be doing to justify $1,000 case. But at the same time, I've already said multiple times in the last 5-10 minutes that you cannot think of a situation that you would be in where you could even justify owning a $3,000 guitar.
Right.
So,
but it's you get a $3,000 guitar, you throw the 30% case cost on there, and now you've spent $4,000. I couldn't imagine spending $3,000. Now I got to spend $4,000.
But only if you're playing on the road all the time.
Now I got to buy these airplane tickets, and I'm flying first class.
Yeah,
those cost $2,500. Have you ever priced out first class tickets?
You're not using what's that email list that sends you the flight ticket, cheap flights?
Do people use that for first class though?
Oh, probably not. I've never priced first class tickets, Ryan. Tell me more. I don't even think I don't even remember the last time I flew on a plane that had a first class section.
Man, the first class coming back from Germany was a trip, dude.
Oh yeah?
Everyone had they were like in these cubicles. It looked like they could have been working in there at a desk, and then their
Wait,
chairs
were you in first class? No, you
of
just
course
walked
not.
through it.
Yeah, I just walked through it. Of course, I walked through it because everyone walks through it, and
Right.
everyone in first class looks at you and like, that's right, back to the plane, get back there. We're living a different life up here. But the first class chairs were like cubicles with their own like big TV.
Mm-hmm.
Their chairs would fold down into an actual bed. It was insane. And all the chairs were tilted so no one would have to have eye contact with each other, or
Right.
or have any awareness that anyone else was on the plane with them. It was pretty incredible.
Sounds great.
But I
Sounds
still
like a
can't
winner.
justify the price of it. It's like $2,500, $3,000 to fly first class or something like that.
Jeez.
Yeah, nuts. No, thank you. I will be uncomfortable and dirty
And
coach
rich.
and save that money
But also poor, but like
to pay my bills and not buy a $3,000 guitar and a $1,000 case. Good for people who can spend that money. Good for those guys.
I mean, their companies are probably
Good for those guys.
paying to upgrade them to first class.
People have to spend that money so the money trickles down, right?
Yeah, that's how it works.
All right, so next ad. This was sent to us by Jason Weiser. Did we say who sent us the first one?
Brandon Mullis sent us the first one. Did we not say that?
Second ad, Jason Weiser, MIA Parts Disaster is what I've titled it.
Since this guitar is certainly not stock and is a, quote, Partscaster, I'll break down its value if you were simply buying it to break it up and sell its parts. David Gilmore, EMG loaded pickguard, $200. Evertune bridge, $200. Warmoth custom maple strat neck with full scallop and stainless steel frets, $200. Ryan, you got to point out the stainless steel frets!
It's got stainless steel frets, guys. It's important.
American strap body, lower horn sanded by previous owner, so I'll say only $100. Fender tuning machines, $20. Fender strap locks, $10. Fender TSA strat case, $70. These prices are all pretty conservative. Feel free to cross-reference them with market values and see for yourself that I'm lowballing their value quite a bit. So why am I not selling this guitar as parts myself? Because all of these parts have been professionally installed and come together in an absolutely awesome playing and beautiful sounding guitar with lots of characters. It's definitely not your run-of-the-mill Strat, but if you can get past the fact you've got yourself a beast of an instrument that outperforms your run-of-the-mill Strats any day. I'm in no rush to sell it and really don't even need to, so I'll probably ignore lowball offers. I'm mostly interested in seeing what kinds of trade offers come my way. I love this guitar, but when it comes down to it, I'm a Gibson person and not a Fender person. I think there's a guitar out there that will suit me better, and that the same goes for somebody out there with this guitar. Feel free to message me for more pictures or ask any questions. It's asking $720 for this guitar.
He's giving a $60 discount based on his estimations of reselling the parts. His estimation on the guitar being $100 because the lower horn has been decimated in a really weird way is garbage. I don't think that body's going to sell for anything. I don't think it's going to sell for $100. I think that's a $25 body now because no one wants that. It's ugly.
I mean, it's dumb, but I don't know if I'd cut it all the way down to a $25.
No one's going to care that that's an MIA body.
Fine,
based on the
Ryan.
reshape of that lower horn. They turned it into a freaking banana.
But they also reshaped the pickguard. That's got to count for something.
Oh, good. They reshaped the pickguard. Yeah, now the pickguard has to go with the body now. I mean, really what you're selling here is you're selling a scallop neck with stainless steel frets, and you're selling an Evertune bridge, and you're selling the pickups.
Yeah.
But the thing with the Evertune bridge is like that's a major operation to get that into a guitar. Like you
And
just
it's
don't-
not even actually installed. I won't say it's installed improperly, but the install is sloppy because there used to be a trem in there.
right. You can see the little
Yeah.
gap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I look at this and I'm like, it's a hard sell because it's like someone has to want a scallop neck with stainless steel frets. I have to mention it. Who wouldn't mention that? They have to want those pickups and an Evertune bridge, which are all each uniquely like niche pieces of gear. And finding someone who wants all three of those things together is just like impossible.
Do you think
There's like 2 dudes in America who want this guitar and they don't even know it exists.
Do you think so? His whole thing is he doesn't want to take it apart because
he thinks it plays really good.
because it plays really well. But I actually think that's what's keeping this from being a full on, like, actually interesting piece.
What do you mean?
Well, because I mentioned, so the first thing that got me thinking about this was I pointed out that the Evertune doesn't fit right,
sure,
because it's covering up a Fender trim cavity. So how do you fix that? Well,
new body.
New body, or like you fill this body, right?
Okay,
you'd have to fill this in, and once you fill it in, it's going to look weird. So what do you have to do then? You have to refinish the body.
Jeez.
I'm not saying this thing is worth anything. I'm saying that the problem with this guitar is it has pieces that are interesting.
Right.
But it's not like, I actually don't think this body is like the worst looking shape ever. I think the fact that the lower horn was shaved down and reshaped but left bare is what makes this extra bad.
That lower horn looks bad. It looks like a wiener. It looks like
but there's like plenty of guitars that have wiener horns.
Right,
Hamer made a killing on wiener horns.
It mismatches the top horn, which is your classic Strat top horn, like the dolphin fin up there.
I think this thing would look like
you've got a dolphin fin and then you've got a wiener hanging down underneath.
Yeah,
it.
dude, that's like the whale swimming upside down. It's the Legend of the Kraken.
Like
that's not a giant squid, dude.
They could have reshaped the lower horn and the top horn to be more reflective of like an Ibanez RG shape, which would have given them what they were probably going for, which is like an extended like fret range down there and a more open feeling around the hand, which you don't really like. A Strat is already like a premium like ergonomic experience with your fret access and the lower horn.
The real problem with fret access on this is the fact that this still has a traditional square block.
Sure.
Heel, so you're not really getting that much more access because you're going to hit that heel. But I don't know, like I don't totally actually what that horn kind of reminds me of is the weird is like that when someone throws a Strat pick guard on like a Telecaster.
Right.
Like it's kind of got that thing going on.
I would offer $500 for this. Solely to scrap the Evertune out of this and have it put into something else, and then sell the neck and sell the pickups.
All right, I think.
How much do Evertunes go for?
Well, he's saying 200.
No, but that's not what they're worth. They're worth.
Oh, I don't know what they're worth. He says 200.
But I think they're probably like 300 or something like that. You have to have them professionally installed in a thing. Yeah,
that's true.
So maybe if you can save some money selling the neck and the pickups out of this, and then finding someone to buy that body for whatever you can get. Like this is all a scheme in my mind to get that Evertune hardware.
I can't even find an Evertune like being sold by itself on.
Yeah,
Reverb.
I think it's like it comes with the installation. Like you pay for the installation, and the Evertune is part of that. You know,
pay for this installation, and the Evertune is free.
What is your gut on the price for this?
I think 500 is actually exactly what I was thinking. Okay, the Strat drop-in Evertune is $295.
Yeah. So like you get this for 500, you sell the pickups for 100, you sell the neck for 150, 200 maybe, and that starts making it sound like gravy to get that Evertune, and then you use that extra bit of money that you potentially made in the flip towards the installation, and you got an installed Evertune in a guitar you wanted it in for the cost of just the hardware. Like that's the grift here.
Yeah.
But then it's like I said, each individual part is so niche, like combining them together is impossible. Like a fully scalped Strat neck with stainless steel frets.
Stainless steel.
Steve and I are referencing the fact that people like really reamed me because I didn't make a big deal about the stainless steel frets on the Harley Benton Fusion.
You know what will damage stainless steel frets?
What?
Jet fuel.
Oh my gosh! Shut up.
All right, this week's episode. Speaking of jet fuel, this week's episode is sponsored by Chase Bliss Audio.
What? What?
Just making that hard transition, man.
Next week will be the last.
That's
Next week
called
will be the last week we're sponsored by Chase Bliss. Thanks a lot, Steve.
That's called a segue, Ryan.
Chase Bliss Audio. We actually have the mood here in hand now. This thing is buck wild. I've been working up the nerve to demo it. I'm probably going to be recording it on the day that this episode airs.
Oh.
So maybe I'll publish it by the end of the day or the next day or something like that.
Very cool.
I've had to sit and really spend time with this. Like every time I get a Chase Bliss pedal, I know that I'm just in for it. Like I'm going to be doing real homework to figure it out. And this was no exception, that's for sure.
How would you describe the tones that you get with this, Ryan?
This is a glitch making machine.
Ah.
That's what this does. There are a couple like kind of standard like delay sounds you can find in here. But for the most part, most Chase Bliss pedals, like at its core, there's a really like standard analog style effect.
Right.
That's not this pedal. This pedal is for glitchy noiseescapes and for experimentation and making like never ending like spatial loops that will just make you dizzy and make your audience fall in love with you. And it's very creative and very experimental. And you're just going to get lost in it. You're going to just fall down the rabbit hole for thousands of hours with this thing. When I do the demo, I think I'm going to focus on each setting by itself and then just do a couple jams at the end because like there's a lot to unpack with each setting. There's 6 settings on here. There's reverb, delay, slip, envelope, tape, and stretch. They all do drastically different things, and you can combine 2 together at the same time in different ways.
Yeah.
And then there's all the dip switches on the top, and it's just bananas. It never ends. If you're someone into noise music or into kind of like ambient stuff, this is a pedal that you're probably going to want to have. I'm not going to say you're going to buy it. I'm going to say you're going to think about having it a lot because it does a lot of stuff and makes a lot of noises I've never gotten anywhere else. Chase Bliss Audio Mood. It's wild. I'm still like a little scared and excited to do the demo.
It still says digital brain, analog heart, Ryan. Come on. All right, this episode's also brought to you by Sinusoid, Sinusoid Pro Audio Couture. They are makers of cables
and smiles.
They have
Did I do that too soon?
They have a custom shop. So go check out their website, see what cables they have in stock, see what kind of cables they have that you can like build your own or whatever. And if you're still not seeing the option that you're looking for, shoot them an email. Their custom shop can put together something that may work for you that fit your exacting needs as a musician.
They can buy all the parts that cables are made out of.
Yeah.
All that stuff is out there. If you have something special in mind, they can probably build it for you.
There you go.
Yeah. And the online builder is a fun way to like window shop and figure out what your actual needs are for a cable. There might be options in there you didn't even know existed, like measurements and numbers of things you didn't know existed, like figuring out the way different plugs interact with, whatever cable you want and stuff like that. Go do some fun, like virtual window shopping. It's fun to use the builder.
Yep.
It's cables.
Sinusoid.com. Go check it out.
They make cables.
And smiles.
There we go.
All right. This next topic was sent to us by Ozer Gutgarlop.
Beautifully read, Steve.
I don't know who this is. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly.
Ozer Gutgarlop. Ozer Gutgarlop. I think I got close.
All right. Anyway, he says, what pedals can sound great in the bedroom but not live?
Wah, baby.
You really wanted to make
always
that
sounds
joke.
good in the bedroom. Always appropriate in the bedroom. No, this is. I feel like we've answered or addressed like variations of this over the years. But maybe we have more to add to it. Maybe we have new perspectives now. What do you want to lead in with, Steve?
When I first saw this, the first thing I thought about is like reverb pedals. In general, I think sometimes when you pull out like a reverb pedal, especially like in a small space, because you have like very little room
Sure.
To work with and very little like not really a ton of like reflective surfaces. So you're going to take your reverb pedal and this is this has a
reverb.
has a reverb setting, but
Right.
you take your reverb and you're like, oh man, I'm going to take the knob, like the depth knob, and turn it all the way up. Or I'm going to take the reverb mix knob and I want all reverb. And maybe that's like legitimately what you want, But I think a lot of times, even in like trying to do like more like rock and roll, indie rock kind of stuff, like you tend to get too reverb heavy, like in a small space, because you don't have any room. And then when you go into like a live venue or a larger space where you have like walls for things to bounce off of, all of a sudden like your reverb is just like way out of control.
And it just gets lost in the mix and whatnot.
Well, but it's getting lost in the because like maybe even like when you're having band practice, if you drop a mic in the middle of the room, it still sounds great because it's like 3 people in a small room or 4 people in a small room, and you're just cranking through it. But again, in like a large venue, it just gets lost in the mix. The sound guy can't pull it out because now it's like you're competing with your own natural reflections in the room. That was the first thing I thought of was like reverbs.
My thoughts. Because I've always said that like tube screamers sound awful at home and then sound great in a band scenario. And like, so that we're working with the opposite here. Stuff that sounds great at home and sounds not great in a band scenario or doesn't matter in a band scenario. And I really think like kind of complicated, like waveformy, like repeat pattern stuff that you figured out some part for it at home, like this galloping delay. And then you get it with a band. And just like, I can't make it sync up. I'm just going to, default to, like a quarter note delay here.
Yeah.
Like a simple slap
You really
back.
have to be like locked in with the full band in that kind of situation.
And if you just can't make it work live, then you just dump it and you go to, your standard like slap backy or like long ambient delay sort of thing. Cause that complicated thing you came up with at home just isn't working. Yeah. And there's not time to get everyone else on board to play along with your delay. I mean, there's all kinds of effects that fall in that department now. And they work great when you're at home recording, jamming, whatever, you're experimenting. But then you get in a band scenario and like stuff just falls apart. You have some sort of like crazy particle reverb or something like that. Or you have a tremolo with a really complicated waveform on it that just jumps around a bunch of different ways. Like I always find in a live scenario, I just go for the simplest setting that's on the pedal. I go for that simple, like optical or biased tremolo sound on a tremolo. Right. I go for a simple, like arena slap back on a delay. I go for just the most simple, like hall reverb on a reverb pedal and stuff. And all that other stuff that you thought was awesome at home just kind of becomes too much to deal with.
I feel like I've run into this problem a lot with trying to use muff style pedals not wide open.
Well, fuzzes are one that can definitely like just disappear in a live setting.
Yeah. And I found like, especially like because muffs tend to have like that really big scoop in them. Mm-hmm. I feel like more than other types of fuzzes, that unless I'm like going like full out, like, which I mean, I don't even know why I'm trying to run a fuzz with like the sustain or whatever drive function knob like not dimed, like that's my own fault, right?
I don't know why they have a gain knob on there. You just need to turn it all the way up and break it off.
Yeah,
that's how fuzzes work.
It should just be a resistor. Fixed.
Right.
Anyway, but I found that like when I pull those into live settings, that by the time I get back to where like I feel like I can hear it, I'm hearing the way that I feel like it needs to be is just all off.
Sure. For me, the most usable way to use fuzz live is as like a static generator before my time-based effects. Because that gets you like a great big wash of like your delays and your reverbs and stuff like that. And it's like hitting it with a big synthy square wave, Like when I'm playing at home, my fantasy is like, oh man, I'm just gonna drop these big Davey Allen, super fuzz riffs. And the reality is that in a band scenario, that just isn't going to work unless you have that exact band, unless you're building around your specific fuzz sound. Like for the most part, like fuzzes don't always work, especially like in the bands that I play in. So I don't know, something to think about. Like I spend all this time chasing fuzzes and a lot of times they don't work. The one I run to like a lot when I know like I just want something to work is the Walrus Contraband that I have up there. It's just one knob, a tone switch between thin and heavy.
It's like you run it thin or heavy?
I usually run it heavy, and it either works or it doesn't. And I figured it out real quick.
Yeah. There you go.
Instead of like trying to mess around with a bunch of different settings, trying to dial it in. You know? So there's that. You have anything else to add to this? This is where we wrap up the segment.
Man, you're really digging in on this. All right. Quick housekeeping note. This week we want to thank David Ferraro, who's supporting the show on Patreon at the $5 level. $5 level we don't talk about a lot. You do get,
because people don't do it a lot.
You get a little bit of a merch pack at the $5 level, but you don't get behind the scenes. So
you don't get in the inner circle.
It's a cool one.
It's kind of like a more inner circle because like you don't see anyone. Like you don't.
You're
like,
in there. It's like you're there all by yourself.
It's so secret. There's no one there.
Anyway, if you want to support the show, head on over to patreon.com/60cyclehumcast. I always forget.
Yeah, you'll find us.
Just Google 60 Cycle Hum Patreon. Do something like that. You can support us at any dollar amount that you want to, whether it's $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6,
$25,
$26, $100.
I bet you could pledge $100 a month if you wanted to. I bet you could. A $4,000 guitar and a $2,000 case. Why don't you support?
I dare you to support this show at the $200 level. I dare you.
If we had a $200 supporter, you think we would like do something special for him? Nah, I don't know. Maybe we'll send him a Christmas card or something. Steve might.
Who knows?
Steve
Who
might.
knows? Anyway,
maybe we'll fly out to you and have a beer with you if you want to support us at $200.
All right. Anyway,
and it's reasonable.
Yeah,
it's reasonable airfare. We'll figure it out.
Reasonable airfare. Airfare can always be reasonable. You just have to find the right time to fly.
All right. We'll red eye it out to you.
All right. So anyway, thank you, David, for supporting the show. We appreciate everyone who supports the show, whether it's through listening, sending songs. If you want to send us a song, just send us a file to 60cyclehumcast@gmail.com. Mm-hmm. Join the Facebook group, whatever.
Send us ads.
Send us ads.
Send us topics.
Yeah. Lots of ways to support the show.
Yeah.
That make things go more smoothly and more fun on our end.
I mean, we used Patreon money tonight to buy ourselves dinner, which means that my wife didn't have to cook dinner for herself, and we didn't have to cook dinner for ourselves. And we all just got to have kind of a more restful evening because food was provided, you know? It's one of those little things that just makes podcasting easier when we don't have to like hustle and bustle around those sorts of things. We can just buy ourselves burritos. We're not buying filet mignons over here. We're just getting burritos.
Maybe we should, though.
I mean, yeah, maybe it's a good idea.
All right. This last ad was sent in by Tyler Davis. It's called Holey Martin. This is a Martin M21. Needs repair. Steve Earle signature model. The guy says this lists for $42.99. It retails for $33.99.
Who cares what it lists at if that's what the retail is? Right?
Some people want you to know, man.
What the list is? MSRP? MAP?
Yeah, Yep.
Yep.
He says this is the Steve Earle Custom Edition. Very nice shape, but will need new top. Play as is or repair. Best offer over $1,000. Also, case. He wants an extra $225 for a case.
Well, that's the right ratio.
Yeah, don't ask, won't tell.
So what do you think is the most striking feature of this guitar, Steve? Do you think it's
I think it's the classic square Martin headstock.
You think it's a square Martin headstock? Or maybe it's this just classic no-cut body shape, dreadnought? Yeah. Or do you think it's
that 15... This is not a dreadnought. This is an OM, but, whatever.
Okay, what's a dreadnought then?
Not this.
All right.
This is a smaller body, I believe. Than
I thought a dreadnought was just a guitar with that shape, with that hole. So, anyways, maybe
which hole?
I know. Maybe the distinguishing feature of this guitar is the half dozen baby fist-sized holes in this guitar body, in the top of it. Do you think a baby punched this guitar?
I have no idea what happened to this guitar.
One of them looks like a baby foot.
Yeah,
there's a couple baby fists in there. To me, it looks like someone attacked it with a claw hammer. Maybe, but those. You think those? I think those.
This
looks like an attack to me.
The the very clean circles must make me think ball peen hammer for those.
Ball peen, huh?
My other thought was maybe those two smaller holes were just like golf balls launched at close range.
They are all the holes are different shapes.
They are.
So it makes me think that it was a multitude of objects. It's not one object. Maybe one object a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think a new object entered into the scenario at some point here.
Oh, yes. A new challenger appeared.
Like maybe the first object was removed from the scenario, and then a new object was improvised to continue to attack this guitar. What do you think was going on here? You think this is like a jilted lover situation? You think this is like a didn't pay your drug dealer situation?
I don't know, man.
You think it's like you snitched on the mob sort of thing?
The way that these are positioned, it looks like it legit looks like a wear pattern that I've seen done intentionally.
No.
For like there's like some guy out there who has like his guitar and it's like a Willie Nelson situation.
Right, but it's like super extreme.
Yeah.
But that's not this. This isn't wear from anyone's playing.
Here's a question I have for you. Look at the sound. Look in the sound hole.
Uh-huh.
Did somebody take a Sharpie to the paper?
It looks like the tag is off center.
Well, that might be normal. It looks like the tag has been Sharpied.
It might have been. What is going on there? Yeah, it does look scratched out. What is going on with this guitar? It almost makes me wonder, are there strings on this guitar? I don't think there are.
I don't think there are.
There's no strings on this. Yeah, because there's no pins in the bridge.
Yeah.
What the hell happened to this poor guy? I mean, normally I'm pretty bored by acoustics, but this one has has my interest up.
Best offer over $1,000. So we'll not accept $1,000, but will accept the best offer starting at $1,001.
Any offer over $1,000 will automatically be the best offer.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's going to get his $1,000.
How much does it cost to replace an entire spruce top? I don't even know.
It's not just the top. I'm sure you have to repair all sorts of bracing and stuff underneath there.
Right.
And for an acoustic guitar, you've got to pull off the fretboard to do that, right? Because the fretboard's on top of the top.
I don't know, man. I guess.
To me, it just seems like get a new guitar time if you want this repaired. Because if I was shopping for this model guitar and I didn't care what it looked like, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'll make this guy an offer. I'll play with a busted up looking guitar.
No, this is nuts.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty messed up.
I'm looking on Reverb. There is one Martin M21 Steve Earle in a different color, and it's 4,500. But it's a different finish, so maybe it doesn't count. I don't know.
What do you think is a fair price for this, Steve?
It's so hard to say.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's missing the bridge pin, so you're already looking at like replacing stuff too.
With what happened to this thing, whatever it was, whatever traumatic event, and it's missing all its strings and the bridge pins, you go try this out. You're not going to try it out.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Like,
that would actually be
you go to check this out. You have no idea if the neck is good anymore.
That would be like my first question is, hey, I'm interested in this. Are you going to put strings on it?
Say it costs $1,000 to replace the top on this. Does that sound like above and beyond fair for a luthier?
I mean, I guess. Like I said, I have no idea.
Then you're getting a $4,000 guitar for $2,000.
Well, you're getting a $3,400 guitar.
Sure, for $2,000.
Yeah, but if it retailed for $3,400 new, it's probably already like in the 2000s anyway. So just get something that's already like in the right shape.
Yeah. Ah, man, it's just too risky. If I was legit curious about this, I would write the guy. I'd be like, string it up for me.
Yeah.
I'll come check it out.
Yeah. Because
I got to play this thing to figure it out. What if this is a magic guitar with those special holes in it? And you'll never be able to replace.
I mean, it might be. It might be like
reproduce that sound.
I could, but then it's like I just can't imagine. Like, oh yeah, my secret tone is I buy a $3,000 guitar and then I put 6 randomly placed crunchy big old gaping holes in
I
it.
let my super baby punch it.
Yeah, and kick it.
Yeah.
I got nothing for this, man.
Yeah. Good luck. Whoever you are selling this thing, good luck.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for whatever happened. Unless you were the one who did it, then I'm like, screw you, dude. Why'd you do that to your own guitar?
Gross.
All right. Tell us about the song, Steve.
This week's song is sent by Jeep. He says,
Beep, beep.
"Greetings, gentlemen. I thoroughly enjoy your podcast. It often is tedious on a whisking day. No, it's often whisks me through a tedious day. Please find the attached file. This song is called Who Do You Trust?" So thanks, Jeep, for sending us a song.
That's a big question.
Who do you trust?
Bye, everybody.
Stay grounded.
Finally bursting the surface of reality to overwhelm and destroy